Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello and welcome back to the channel where today is a surprise supercar delivery day. We're going to be going to pick something up to bring back here to the Shmuseum, something that I'm not going to tell you all about just yet, but it's a car that I know a lot of you are going to love. It's a car that is going to be a big part of 2023 for reasons that shall become clear, and it's a car that I'm going to need to explain a bit more about later on. Now we're going to be heading over in the Ferrari GTC 4 Lusso, currently undergoing daily driving duties, winter tyres, four-wheel drive, utterly filthy, and it's a car also that links to what we're about to go and get. It's an hour and a half or so drive. The weather outside is horrific, grimy, wet, miserable, winter in the UK, but that is not going to stop the fun, and this is going to be quite a bright addition to the collection. One of the 5 cars that I recently mentioned are going to be touching down here over this period, so let's do it. Surprise supercar delivery day. It doesn't take a genius to work out that I quite like my bright and colourful cars, and today it is going to get even more colourful here at the Shmuseum. That is your first clue. But when I departed from the USA a couple of weeks ago, leaving the GT Black series out there, I said that there were going to be 5 cars arriving here at the Shmuseum over this coming period. The first of those was, of course, this, the full 1-to-1 real-size Lego McLaren Senna, borrowed from the McLaren Technology Centre Boulevard to sit alongside my real McLaren Senna. The second arrival was delivery day in Hethel of my new Lotus Emira First Edition in Hethel Yellow. The third is going to be the return of the F1 show car. We've seen the parts of the process over on the Shmuseum channel. It will be back here and tucked in somewhere, I think, behind the museum side of the garage very soon. And of course, you know that imminently the Zenvo is going to be arriving here at the Shmuseum. So what is the mysterious number 5? Well, that's what today is all about. So we're going to be heading over in the GTC 4 Lusso, which, as I say, is utterly filthy, grimy and horrific at the moment. Come and have a look at the back of this thing. But hey, there's something cool about seeing a dirty supercar, especially when you know it has a near 700 horsepower naturally aspirated V12 for the soundtrack. The only problem is that I chose a spec that's quite nice and clean and tidy and light coloured inside, which is not ideal, but we'll find a way around that. Anyway, today, I don't really know what else I can tell you. I've got the plates ready. I think we should get on the road, and you're going to see something today that, I don't know, maybe you expected, maybe you didn't. Let's find out. The next clue for today, it's all about big naturally aspirated engines. This car, of course, has the 6.3 litre naturally aspirated V12, 12 cylinders. Today, something a little bit different, but similar in some ways. Let's get this started. Press the magic button, take a listen. Oh yeah, let's go. Well, these are what you call perfect weather conditions for going to pick up a high-powered rear-wheel drive supercar. Look at this as we go around the M25. There's been a lot of this recently. It is what it is. But hey, that is not going to spoil the fun behind a car for clue number 3 that's really in a very important year for the manufacturer, celebrating a big anniversary, and therefore lots of events to go and attend with it. Lots of different things in the works. Lots of things that I've been speaking about as well with various friends that you might have picked up on my recent travels. But I don't want to say too much yet as we do make our way around cruising in this car, which is an almost perfect match to go with what we are heading to collect. So we're heading around towards Heathrow. If you know your geography at all, that means slightly to the west of London. That's what we're going with for now. Being British, we really do have to talk about the weather all the time. It is literally what we do. This is not ideal, but I am going to pop the car up into sport, into manual, drop it to second gear, because we've got an empty road and I want to enjoy this. We're going to be having some more of that kind of thing. Now, we've come out along the M4, which might mean something to some people, towards a place I've been a few times over the years for the car that's awaiting us. Check that everything's in order. It's all ready. It's all going to be set for us to collect as we, go through a whole lot of water. And I'm glad that the car we're collecting is not on track tyres. because we would probably be changing our plans right about now. This is grim, but hey, it is what it is. And this car, listen to these downshifts. These engines need to be enjoyed. The car, I think for clue number 4, has a number of cylinders that no other car at the Shmuseum at the moment has. So it's an addition, if you will, in that sense. You've probably worked it out by now, but if not, you're going to find out very shortly. The final clue, if you haven't got this yet, is that about 9 months ago, this car, the GTC4 Lusso, was kind of the support car on the Where's Shmee tour to the car that we're about to see. We are, of course, here in Pangbourne, and in a second, around the corner here, you will see the showroom we have come to. We are at Lamborghini Pangbourne, and in the showroom is my Huracan STO. Yes, the Shmeemobile Lamborghini Huracan STO is the car of the day, and this is going to need a whole lot of explaining, but it's coming back home. I know many of you expected it, but it's here. Let's go and get on with all of this, pick it up again, and get this started. Well, this is deja vu, back in the showroom at Lamborghini Pangbourne, back with the Viola Bast STO. It is in a sea of very brightly coloured cars here at the moment, but it was a year and 3 months ago that we came here. The car was parked right here. It was a much sunnier day. It was undercover, and we collected what was my first ever Lamborghini, the car that I had spec'd and brought you along on that journey. Now, a year to the day later, about 3 months ago, I drove it back here to say farewell. Unfortunately, needs must. I felt it was time to sell the car, despite not really wanting to, and this is quite rare for me. Normally when I've made the decision that I'm going to sell a Shmeemobile, I don't regret it because there's another car coming, or I need the funds for another investment or something, so there's always a reason a car goes. But with this, it was very bittersweet that day. It was kind of, I don't want to say goodbye to this. I don't want to sell it, but it's been for sale. It's not been purchased in that time because the market here has been kind of funny, to be completely honest, and I'm not too unhappy about that. So effectively, it's kind of been stored here at the showroom for the time being, and it's mine to collect again and to start this journey in 2023, which is Lamborghini's 60th anniversary year. So hopefully there are going to be some really cool events to take this to as well. So we have all of the goodies, everything here and set, and in fact, let me show you this very quickly. The plates are finally correct. Because we had taken off the old ones, which had, you might remember, an incorrect quote at the bottom, I took a new quote from Ferruccio Lamborghini. I had to try something new, and I think that accurately represents this car for me. I had to try something new. It was my first Lambo, like I said. It's so brash and out there that arguably it's not very me typically, but I kind of missed that experience. It's just wild. It's just crazy. So I popped on the rear plate. We have unfortunately misplaced the front plate plinth, so I can't put on the front one right now. Gonna have to work that one out. We've actually ordered a new plinth, so that is coming. But we also have the piece that goes in the front, the car cover, we've got the 2 keys, we've got the C-Tech smart charger, the valet key, all of the first aid kit and things, the service book, because it had its first annual service while it was out here as well. But this is it. The Viola Bast, this stunning metallic pink paintwork, magenta, rich color. We did the full PPF at Topaz, so we've got the gloss black PPF over the roof, all of the yellow vinyl contrast sections. I know it's controversial, I know it's out there, it's bold. That's what this car is supposed to be. Inside, we've got the black Alcantara with all of the yellow accents, the yellow pinstriping, the embroidery, the crests on the headrests, and all of the other details on a very highly spec'd Huracan STO. Of course, the front clamshell, the Cofango, folds open forwards. Just to remind you how this works, it literally pops up like this, full carbon fiber piece, and that's where we have our minimal front storage. Not a great car for long distance road trips, I tell you, but we will figure a way to make it work, because I think I have to take it back to the factory at some point during this 60th anniversary year. It's a mission that this car has to accomplish, really. And you know, in a garage or showroom like this, filled with some amazing colors and cars. I mean, we've got the Urus here in blue Helios with satin PPF. Same with the Arancio Borealis Performante. We've got the Giallo Orion SV Roadster, the Grigio Telesto Huracan Evo, the Bianco Isis SVJ Coupe. Over this way, that, by the way, is Verde Artemis. That's the color of the Murcielago 40th anniversary. And I recently drove Stradman's car in this exact shade, and it's definitely a color I would love to do one day on a Lambo. But when it comes to the STO, this is a car that I think has a story. You know, at the end of the day, ultimately, I'm not going to lie, it's a bit of a stretch for me at the moment. It was a very big year with new cars this year, especially the Zenvo, of course. So if somebody did want to purchase it and made a sensible offer, a market value offer, the car would probably still be for sale. But realistically, I don't want it to just sit here. It needs to be driven. It needs to be enjoyed. So we're going to take it back home, despite this weather. We're going to take it back home, bring it back to the Shmuseum, bring it back to where it belongs. So let me just effectively load everything up and get this ready to get it started, to have a V10 back in the Shmeemobiles officially again and get the STO back home. So, first time back in here. See how familiar it feels. There we go. Oh, need to slide the seat forwards. Cool. Right. Let's get this started and let's get out and brave this weather. Here we go then. This feels like new car day. It is my car back again. Lusso is in tow. Lift system, obviously it feels very familiar. Remember how all of this works. Get the wipers going. I hate having the plate like that. I like to do it properly. Unfortunately today, we don't yet have a number plate plinth, so there is no alternative. But here we go. Back in the STO. I had forgotten how firm it is. That's really, really solid. Sound is amazing. We effectively plugged the exhaust valve at Lamborghini Pangbourne, which means all of the sound. There's a lot of rainwater here. Look at this, look at the car in front splashing through the puddles. I need to avoid those. I don't quite trust it. Madness. Oh, there's a police car. Yes, please don't pull me over. I'm not trying to do anything wrong. When you're driving in a bright pink Lambo, you just feel guilty of something. You just feel like you must be doing something wrong. I don't know why this guy is literally driving straight through all of the puddles. What on earth? This weather is atrocious. This is awful. Man. Not what we wanted, but here we are, back in the STO, back in the craziness of it. And you know what? It feels good. It feels good to be bringing this car home. And I know a lot of you kind of guessed it. I gave a few teasers and hints when I was out with James Stradman, for example. We were talking a bit about it, about how I was still technically a Lambo owner because I was already thinking, you know what? If no offer has come in that I'm going to accept over the Christmas period, it's time to bring it home. And that's where we find ourselves. That's where we've got to now. This is where we have dual carriageway, and I would absolutely love to drop some gears and boot it, but we are in a rear wheel drive, high-powered car, and I'm not entirely sure, but I suppose benefit of it being run in already. Yeah, that's enough. I've actually got somebody right on my tail. I'm going to slow down and let them go past because I don't want that in this weather. The Fiesta ST. Where's the Lusso? Have I lost the Lusso completely? Or is it going to emerge from around the corner somewhere? I hope. This is so horrible. Well, the Lusso's back in tow now, which means we can go join the motorway. Tell you what, that sound is amazing. It's immense. Listen to this thing. But already, do you know what? Already I'm feeling overwhelmed with the attention the car gets. It's so, it's in like a different league to even the Senna and the Ford GT. The amount of people that just do all sorts of crazy things. I'm definitely not particularly happy with the floods. We're quickly, oh God, I'm just making, this is why we need a Storato. We need a Storato for this, not, yeah, not an STO. Oh my, oh, as much acceleration as we'll get today. And that is that. This is genuinely ridiculous. I mean, look in front of us. I can barely even see that it's the Lusso behind. Just the headlights are so wide apart that it can only be the Lusso. I can even feel right now, because of the ruts on the tarmac, that we're actually being pulled a little bit side to side. This is a disaster. This is a genuine disaster. And one thing, by the way, people always ask me about this so often, about putting protective film on the glass. This car has protective film on the glass, and look at the wipers. They can barely go across. It's burning out the motors doing this. I mean, small thing on a car like this, but obviously that's not ideal, and that's why I don't tend to do it. This was my trial and error car, and that's not the only little issue as well, because you can also see it. You can see some blemishes in the glass. So yes, to those wondering, in the case of, say, the GT Black series, why I don't have film over the glass, and unfortunately it does sometimes mean it gets cracked, it's because this is more annoying to have this all the time. I should probably take the film off this because I don't like it. I mean, if you just drive the car in fair weather, then 100% sure, go for it. Don't, you know, leave it like this, because you don't need to run the wipers ever. But if you ever do need to run the wipers, you don't want to have it. So yes, it's a slow and steady cruise in near nothing visibility. I mean, look at this. You can barely see cars like 100 meters ahead of us. Oh dear, goodness me, not what we wanted today. But unfortunately, the forecast for the next 10 days is, oh look, another police car. They come out because the Lambo's about. The forecast for the next 10 days is all the same, so we don't really have a whole lot of choice. What was I saying? We're already being photoed, and, oh no, it was an ambulance. I was going to say flashing blue lights, but it was an ambulance, not a police car. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. Not the right car for the weather, not the right car at all. I cannot get my head how we're literally sailing around the swimming pool that is the M25. The amount of water here is just silly, and I think if you look out by the A-pillar on the left side, you can probably see the water flicking up through the louvres and out through some of the aero on the car. This is totally absurd. Genuinely, I'm like, when are we just going to have a flood in front of us as a car just went through a massive splash on the left side? This is silly. This is really silly, the amount of rainwater today. Oh dearie me. And we've had so many people beeping and just giving thumbs up, because I guess you don't see a pink Lambo on a day like today. I am now starting to miss my pillows though. I should have brought them with me. I need a cushion. These seats are just a little bit too firm and uncomfortable. I've got them somewhere in the barn, so we'll be able to put them back in the car, thankfully. I just don't know why. Why are we doing this today? Why in this weather? Oh no. Well, that was eventful, but we've made it back. The STO is home at the Shmuseum after a 3-month hiatus, and I promised earlier it would be bringing a flash of colour back to this place, and I think it's safe to say that that has definitely happened. We have every colour of the rainbow here again, every single colour possible, and I know the colour scheme of this car is ludicrous. Remember when I was speccing it, I kind of said that it's my first Lambo, it's ridiculously out there and brash to begin with. Just look at this car with all of the aero. Why not go mad with it? Which is how I landed on the Viola Bast and then went for the Giallo accents, because at the time it wasn't possible to order the contrast pack. You had to get that in satin black, which is why they were vinyl wrapped. Obviously that is technically removable. If you want to take off the yellow, you can. But I think that with this car, It suits it because of how over the top it is in every possible way. And remember, this is in a garage where, look around, there are some crazy colors. There are some crazy bright, in-your-face things. And the Lamborghini has to be the one of them all that stands out by far the most, doesn't it, really? It has to be the one that I think kicks and screams, which is a little bit what the car actually does. I'm looking forward to getting those pillows, those cushions back in it for the next drives. But it's home, it's soaked. I'm probably going to need to park it back over towards the door to let it dry a little bit, although we are going to need to give this a thorough clean. An hour and a half on the road, and it is absolutely filthy. Probably the, I was going to say filthiest it's been, but I did take it down back in spring, down to Italy, down towards the mountains, so it got more than enough dirt and grime all over it. But yes, Xiaomi, number plate of course, with the V10 engine, the 10 on the plate, is here. Is at the Shmuseum, which, like I said earlier, some of you will have seen coming for sure. I think I alluded and teased to it a little bit. And it's a funny one because while, as I said, you know, with different things here and other things going on, I'd quite like to sell something. I don't mind if I end up keeping this forever because it's my first Lambo. It's crazy. It's a car that you're not going to be seeing much more of in the future. We know that the Huracan is about to go to hybrid. We know that the Aventador's V12 successor is going hybrid that launches in a couple of months' time. And this is an unrestricted V10, allowed to scream, 640 horsepower, revs up high, sounds glorious, and it's a mega thing. So it's a huge thanks to Lamborghini Pangbourne for effectively holding on to the car for me, for getting it prepared to go and pick up today, even if conditions weren't necessarily the best. I mean, just look at the wheels. Look at those tires. It's a really weird dirt pattern. They're going to need cleaning. Everything's going to need cleaning. Oh well. I hope you guys are pleased to see the STO back. I know I am. But that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you again very soon. Cheers.